Today, the whole world said their final goodbyes to Prince Philip. What did the royal family's body language show? And why won't St. George's Chapel be Philip's final resting place? Harry and Kate were seen talking, but are they on good terms? Charles didn't cry, and there is a reason for it. The Queen, though, couldn't hold back her grief. She was seen wiping away tears. Her emotions overwhelmed her.
He has quite simply been my strength and stay all these years.
We have been inspired by his unwavering loyalty to our Queen.
It was the first time in 8 days that the Queen was seen in public. She was wearing all black, including a face mask. Due to COVID, she was sitting alone during the service. Grief is the price we pay for love. Prince Harry returned to the UK for Philip's funeral alone. Meghan was advised not to go due to her pregnancy. She and Harry provided a wreath to be laid during the service, and Meghan added a handwritten message to it. Harry was also sitting alone during the service due to COVID. Princes William and Harry, who have had difficulties in their relationship, didn't walk shoulder to shoulder in the procession. They were separated by their cousin, Peter Phillips. William has a slight downcast look, and Harry is keeping his eyes forward. Harry has a more rigid posture than William, which indicates Harry is more tense. However, after the funeral, Harry was seen chatting with Kate. They walked home all together as a family.
My dear Papa was a very special person who, I think above all else, would have been amazed by the reaction and the touching things that have been said about him.
Prince Charles struggles to suppress his grief. His brave smile and gritted teeth suggested that Charles intended to replicate the type of public stoicism his father was famous for, but the depth of his emotions was obvious. To avoid Harry and Andrew's embarrassment, military uniforms were banned at the funeral. Harry was stripped of his titles after he quit the royal family. Prince Andrew also stepped back from royal duties in 2019. Men of the family wore black suits, ties, and military medals. The funeral took place on the 17th of April in St. George's Chapel. Prince Philip never wanted any fuss around him. Sophie, Countess of Wessex, shared Philip's final moments.
It was so gentle. It's just like something to talk about. And that's all you.
There was no public procession, and people were urged not to gather at royal residences. According to Philip's wishes, he is not having a state funeral. Around 800 people were set to be invited at first, but only 30 were allowed due to the pandemic. 8 of them consist of the Queen, her children, and their spouses, as well as the Queen's grandchildren with their spouses, 12 people. The Queen's cousins with their spouses, 7 people. The coffin was draped in the Duke's personal standard, with flowers, his naval cap, and sword placed on top. It was driven in a modified Land Rover Philip helped design. The royal family and Philip's staff followed on foot, and the Queen arrived at the chapel by car. Royal Marines carried the coffin up the stairs of the chapel and paused for the minute's silence. Most of the procession didn't go inside. As is the custom, no family members delivered a eulogy. A choir sang Jubilate by Benjamin Britten, chosen by Philip. Philip was buried in the royal vault of St. George's Chapel, Windsor. The coffin was placed on a marble slab in the choir and lowered into the vault by electric motor. But this will not be his final resting place. After the Queen dies, Philip will be transferred to the Gothic Church's King George VI Memorial Chapel, so that they can lie together forever.
She described his passing as a miracle, and she's contemplating it. She described it as having left a huge void.
Family and I miss my father enormously. He was a much-loved and appreciated figure.
The royal family will have 2 weeks of royal mourning, and they will continue engagements where appropriate.
I loved him as a father. He was always somebody you could go to, and he would always listen. So it's a great loss. We've lost almost the grandfather of the nation.
He has died the way he lived, with no fuss or bother. Prince Philip has probably got the kind of ceremony that he would have wanted.
Being married to the Queen, it seemed to me that my first duty was to serve her in the best way I could.